intellectuals. This is MJ with MBJ Knowledge. Today we have a tutorial where we'll look at a trigonometrical question where we'll apply a sine rule. Okay, we want to help each other on how to pick whether to use the sine rule or the cosine rule. We are looking at triangles that are not right angled, okay, that do not have a 90 degree. Okay, so we have a question here which reads, in triangle PQR, PQ is equal to 16.1 meters, angle QPR is equal to 42 degrees, and angle PQR is equal to 53 degrees. Okay, so the first question is saying calculate the length of QR. Okay, now for us, we know to say this is not a right angled triangle, so I cannot use those ratios, the sine, the tangent, the cosine, where we have adjacent and maybe the opposite sides. So since it is not a right angled triangle, it means we need to use the rules, and we only have two rules, that is the sine rule and the cosine rule. Okay, now since we are asked to find a length, that is QR, this length right here. Now, for us to be able to find this length, we should understand that this is a side for this triangle. Okay, so now let us just put out a few things that we need to know when we are using one of these rules. So for instance, if we want to use cosine rule, we're supposed to be given two sides and the included angle. Okay, so if we want to use cosine rule to calculate a known length of a triangle, we're supposed to be given two sides and the included angle. When you look at this setup here, we only have one side and two angles, meaning cosine rule cannot work here. Let us go to sine rule. If we are using sine rule and we are supposed to find the unknown length of a triangle, we're supposed to be given two angles and any given side. Okay, so when you look at this setup, we have two angles and a side, meaning sine rule is the correct rule to be used to calculate this length we are being asked. So how do we write the sine rule? So sine rule, first of all, we write down the sides. Okay, so this side will be represented by small letter p, and the other side here will be represented by small letter r. Then here it will be represented by small letter q. Okay, having done that, now we can write down the formula for sine rule. Okay, so sine rule is given by, so in this case, this side here, the r, over sine capital letter R representing an angle. So this R capital letter is representing angle. These small letters on the numerator represent sides. Okay, so this is our formula here. Let us dive into calculations now. Since we've known the formula, so it will be easier for us to calculate. Now, for us to be able to use the sine rule, you only need two ratios. And if you look at on the formula, we have three ratios there, but we only need two. The first ratio should be a complete ratio, meaning it should have a side and an angle. It should be a complete ratio. Okay, so here we do not have a complete ratio, but we can have one, meaning this ratio for R, it can be completed because we can only find an angle here. We already have a side, so if we find this angle here, it means this ratio can be complete. The angles in a triangle, they add up to 180. So I'm just going to add the two and then we subtract them from 180. Okay, so when you add 53 plus 42, you have a 95. Subtracting it from 180, you have 85 degrees. So angle R here, we have 85 degrees. Okay, so now since we've known this angle, it means this ratio here is complete, and that is one of the ratios we are going to pick. Then two, we're going to pick a ratio of what we are trying to calculate. So we're trying to calculate QR. QR is represented by small letter p. So this is the ratio we're going to get. Then we'll leave the last ratio there. Okay. So let us substitute the values. The value for R is 16.1 and sine R, capital letter R is 85 equals to P, we do not know, but capital letter P we know is 42 degrees. So P over sine 42. From here, we are going to do cross multiplication. Okay, so we multiply sine 85 times P equals to sine 42 times 16.1. Please do not expand those ratios first of all. So let us divide by sine 85 on both sides. Okay, so here we cancel, we remain with P. Then now we can expand the sine 42. Okay, so punching on the calculator, what is sine 42? We're going to have 0.6691306064 times the 16.1 divided by, again, punch what is sine 85. You're going to have that value. Please do not skip any step. It's a 4-mark question. Okay, so multiply what is on top here. You're going to get something like 10.77300,276. Now divided by the number which was in the denominator. Okay, we're going to have your final answer as 10.81415388. In case you don't know how to round off, leave your value here. Okay, but if you know how to round off, then let us be leaving our answers, if they are not angles, to 3 significant figures. Okay, so 1, 2, 3. So we're going to strike here between 8 and 1. Then since 1 is less than 5, we cannot add the 1 to 8. So the final answer will be 10.8 meters. That will be the value for QR. Okay, we go to the next question, which is area of triangle PQR. Okay, they're saying we should calculate the area of this triangle here. Now, for us to be able to calculate the area, okay, what do we need? Okay, it's very important to take note of what you need before you calculate a particular value. So for us to be able to calculate the area, we need an angle, okay, and the two adjacent sides to that particular angle. So in this case, if you look at 42, we do not have both sides of, both adjacent sides. We only have one. We look at 85, we only have one side. But when you look at angle Q, it has both adjacent sides given. Okay, so it means the angle that we are going to use on the area is angle Q. Okay, so in this case, angle PQR has the adjacent sides, which is PQ and the QR. Okay, so given the formula is 1 over 2 times the two adjacent sides. Remember, this was a P and this is our R. Okay, so PR, these are the adjacent sides to the angle Q, times sine Q, that angle that we are looking at. Okay, so let us substitute our values. 1 over 2 times P is 10.8. Okay, and then R is 16.1, then sine 53 degrees. Here, I want you to multiply 1 times 10.8 times 16.1. Okay, we're going to have 173.88 times, now punch on the calculator what is sine 53. We're going to have a value like this. Okay, from here, multiply 173.88 times this value here for the sine 53. Okay, what do you have? Okay, good. So we're going to have 138.8667425. Here, divided now by a 2. So we're going to have our final answers 69.43337124. Okay, here again, if you don't know how to round off, you leave your value here, just put your units. But if you know, you round it off to 3 significant figures. So it will be between 4 and 3. Again, the 3 is less than 5, so the 4 remains as a 4. The final answer will be 69.4 meters squared. Don't forget to put a square on the area. Okay, we proceed to the last question. Finding the shortest distance R to PQ. So what they want is this distance here. Okay, from R to PQ. That's the shortest distance they want. Now, this shortest distance, it means once this line comes, cutting this line, it will be perpendicular to a line PQ forming a 90 degree. Okay, meaning we are finding the height here. Okay, so with the use of this formula, shortest distance will be equal to 2 times the area divided by B, meaning the longest side of this triangle. Okay, so the area we found was 69.4 meters squared. Okay, the longest side here is 16.1 meters. Okay, so let us substitute. So we have 2 times the area, which is 69.4, divided by 16.1, which is the longest side. Okay, when you multiply on top there, what do you have? Okay, good. We have 138.8. Now divided by 16.1, okay, we have 8.62 8012. Okay, round it off to 3 significant figures. So we're going to strike our line between 2 and the 1. Again, the 1 is less than 5, so the 2 will remain as a 2. So the final answer for the shortest distance is 8.62 meters. Okay, so thank you very much guys for sticking around up to the end of the video. Okay, see you in the next tutorial. Don't forget to share and like